All right, welcome to our explainer. Today we're talking about a term you probably think you know, self-reliance. But trust me, the definition has changed. It's not just some old-fashioned virtue anymore. It's quickly becoming a critical survival framework for the world we're heading into. And by 2026, getting this new definition is going to be absolutely essential. I mean, let's be real. Who doesn't? You've got this nagging feeling of being exposed, right? Whether it's supply chain snapping, the job market going haywire, or just trying to navigate the absolute tidal wave of AI-generated content? Well, that feeling of vulnerability? That's exactly what we're tackling today. So, let's get our terms straight right from the get-go. Self-reliance in the context of 2026 is not about building a bunker and hiding from the world. It's about building up the capacity, both for you as a person and for entire countries, to take a punch, to absorb shocks, and, this is the most important part, to keep your freedom to choose, to make your own decisions instead of having them forced on you by events you can't control. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at what this means for you with a personal resilience plan. Then, we're going to zoom out and see how nations are doing the exact same thing, calling it strategic autonomy. We've got some amazing real-world case studies to show you, and then we'll get to the heart of the matter, the one big thing that gets in the way of all of this. First up, you. How do we actually apply this powerful idea to our own lives? Well, it all comes down to building your own sense of agency. Basically, engineering a life that's a bit less fragile and a lot more resilient. And look, this isn't just some feel-good talk. There are real measurable benefits. Recent research shows that people who truly believe their own actions shape their future. Psychologists have a term for this. It's an internal locus of control. While these people show a whopping 30% higher resilience to economic anxiety. In a world like ours, that is a massive advantage. So how do you get there? Here's a quick checklist. First, on the psychological front, you work on developing that internal locus of control. Intellectually, you need to master what's called digital discernment. That's the crucial skill of cutting through the noise, seeing past AI content and social media bubbles to think for yourself. And finally, financially, you aim to become anti-fragile. A great way to do that is with a T-shaped skill set. That means you have deep knowledge in one area, but you also have a broad set of other useful skills. It makes you incredibly adaptable no matter how the market shifts. Okay, now let's zoom out. We're going to take the very same ideas we just talked about for you and see how they're playing out on the world stage. Because right now, these principles are driving the grand strategies of entire nations. Now, it is so important to get this next point. This is not just a return to old-school protectionism. That was all about isolation, closing off borders to prop up failing industries. This new idea, strategic autonomy, is something else entirely. The focus is on proactively building up your own capabilities in the most critical areas. Think technology, energy, defense. The goal isn't to hide from the world. It's to have the freedom to act in your own best interest without being held hostage by your reliance on others. And believe me, this isn't just a theory people are kicking around in think tanks. Major world powers are rolling out massive strategies based on this idea as we speak. Let's look at a couple of the biggest examples. First, check out India's Atmanirbhar Bharat mission, which literally means self-reliant India. It's a perfect case study. Step 1 for them, secure critical minerals, like creating rare earth corridors so they don't have to import 100% of the stuff needed for things like electric cars. Step 2, boost their own defense industry. They've now mandated that over 5,000 different defense items have to be sourced locally. And step 3, and this is huge, is owning their digital public infrastructure. Systems for payments, ID, commerce, they're all sovereign, which means they aren't controlled by foreign tech companies. And it's not just happening in India. The European Union is on a very similar journey with their open strategic autonomy policy. You see them pouring money into building their own sovereign clouds to protect their data and building local semiconductor plants. Why? So they never again get caught flat-footed by a global supply chain crisis. What's so fascinating when you put it all together is how perfectly the personal and the national goals just mirror each other. For you, the objective is emotional and financial freedom. For a nation, it's sovereign decision-making. You're trying to avoid the risk of losing your job. A nation's trying to avoid the risk of geopolitical sanctions. Your tool is lifelong learning. A nation's tool is a policy like production-linked incentives. It's the exact same logic, just played out on a different scale. Okay, so if all this makes so much sense, and it's so beneficial, what's stopping us? What's the catch? Well, that brings us to the core challenge, the one powerful force that's constantly working against self-reliance. And here it is. The single biggest roadblock is our deep dependency on convenience.
Think about it. Whether it's the one-click buy for stuff made halfway across the world or getting all our news from one single social media feed, our brains are just wired to take the easy route.
So here's the bottom line. Building real resilience, whether it's for you or your country, doesn't just happen. It demands an active, conscious choice to sometimes trade that short-term ease for long-term security. It might mean you choosing to learn a difficult new skill instead of scrolling through your phone, or a nation choosing to invest billions in a local industry that might take a decade to pay off. It's a trade-off.
And that leaves us with one final question for you to really think about. As you look at your own life and the world around you, what's a convenience you really depend on right now? And what would you be willing to trade away for just a bit more genuine security, for a little more freedom of choice? Definitely something to chew on. Thanks for tuning in.